Welcome back to another episode on the channel, and again, thank you so much for stopping by. I did want to talk more about the products that we're going to be using on the transmission, as well as the engine that we're doing. We're going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of exactly what all these products are for, what they do, and why we went with them. Stay tuned. All right, so I had to put the cool banner on the truck. It just looks awesome. I had to leave it on there, so big shout out to PPE. And what I'll do is I'll leave the link in the description for all these products right here if you guys are interested in checking their stuff out. But what we have here, and I do want to highlight something really quickly, the engine oil pan. And Ryan and the team here, we're actually going to be installing this on the truck that we're going to be building here at the shop. We did install it on the YBridge. We also have the PPE transmission pan. I know you install a lot of these pans on customer trucks. What are some of the benefits of these pans versus just a stock pan?
Yeah, a couple different things that we do like about them. One, the design of this pan, you can actually get in an extra quart of oil, which is nice for reducing temperatures. You can actually monitor engine oil temperature right through this port here, like you see on some big trucks and off-road equipment and that sort of thing. The other two cool designs is magnetic drain plug comes standard in here. That way if you ever want to try to check for debris or that sort of thing, or a possibility of an oiling problem, you can. And I also like the flat bottom. These pans on the factory trucks are known. They got the hump that's right up here in the center. You don't ever drain all the oil out. With this style design, you can drain all the oil right out of the oil pan.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because there was I don't know the YouTube channel itself, but I do remember watching a video of a guy that actually pulled off his pan. I think it was about 1.5 cups that came out of
something, yeah,
the bottom. So you're not getting all of your entire oil coming out of there when you guys do your oil changes. This will hold an additional 4 quarts, which in my opinion will actually keep your transmission temperatures cooler. Now again, I did a YouTube video on that. I don't really want to beat the dead horse on these pans, but Ryan, I do appreciate you explaining that to me. I've already seen the Earl video. We will be installing the PPE engine oil filter. I think it's kind of cool too. It's a nice little touch, you know, with the military theme going on. It almost looks like a mortar round. It looks pretty sweet. The thing that we have here, guys, when we do the transmission build, we're going to be using the double deep PPE transmission oil filter. This will add an additional 1 quart as well. So between this and that, you're looking at a 12 quart oil change instead of a 10. But with that being said, guys, the intervals are going to be less. Now this right here is a pretty neat design. This is the deep transmission internal filter for the transmission. Inside right there, it actually has sort of an internal lock with the fins, so it won't go any deeper. So if this thing actually does come unseated from the valve body itself, it won't be just laying in the pan. It's impossible. It'll always stay seated inside of that valve body there. So very, very cool design that PPE came out with. Really, really cool upgrade there. So we talked about the filters. You guys have definitely seen this gentleman on my channel as well. But you are the subject matter expert on the driveline. I know that's what you do. You're the specialist.
Yep.
What do we have here? What are some of the benefits, and why are we going with PPE as well?
Yeah, I read a lot on the internet. I read a lot of the forums and whatnot, and some people rag on these PPE kits, and there's all different levels of these kits. So to rag on a kit, you got to be a little bit more specific than that. And I've put a fair amount of these kits in. You're going to see when we do the build on this, and it's going to be documented, these clutches are second to none. And you're going to see what's in these boxes when we put this together. Excellent quality, good stuff. It's going to be very, very nice. It's going to be a good stout trans. It'll easily be a 750 horse trans when we're done with it. The only thing the trans isn't going to have is billet internals. Along with the pan, the deep pan that you guys already talked about, there's a lot of cool features with that also. Just the cooling fins alone, and the fact that that's a cast pan, once that's bolted to the bottom of the trans, gives the actual main case more structure and strength to it. Back in the day, Turbo 400 stuff we used to run on high horsepower stuff, blown alcohol motors, those pans were a must to strengthen the case up, just to take more load off the main case. And then on the trans build, when we get to it, you're going to see we're going to do the Garin C3 oiler covers, and you guys know how we roll here. Garin triple disc billet stator converter, their X converter. My opinion, the best converter out there, period, hands down. We've never had a failure with these converters. They are absolutely awesome. So this is going to be a really fun build. I hope you guys enjoy this when we get to that in one of the next future videos coming up here.
I actually noticed that there was LML pistons in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you do a lot of one-off builds, like you were talking about earlier. We were discussing that.
We did a transfer case that was for a Dodge for a pulling truck, but instead of using the Dodge casting, The Ford casting has more webbing and support in it. So we did a bunch of hybrid stuff. We did it with a slip yoke eliminator in the back and just built a super strong unit.
That's
so,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, you know, we're going with the PPE clutches and we're going with the Garand triple disc torque converter. And I know with what you do here every single day, you know what works, what doesn't, you know, basically what lasts. And I know you've been doing this for many years. You're going with the Garand, and I know that they also do these C3 oiler plates.
Yep.
What are the benefits of these?
Yeah, so what we do is if you look at these plates, you'll see that they got a oil directing fin that's cast right into these. Actually, these are billet covers. I'm not even going to say cast. These are billet. So what ends up happening is we have our own fixture here. We actually purchased it from Garand, and we put it by the PTO holes, and we drill a hole in at the angle. A 1/4 inch hole gets drilled in there. And it's interesting because I believe they have videos online. You can go to Garand's website, and from about 1700 RPM up, you wouldn't believe the amount of fluid that comes into that PTO cover area. So when that fluid comes in and hits, it hits the cover, hits the direction, and it puts it right down into the hole to direct directly into that C3 clutch pack, which is always start for oil. So these are a really, really cool upgrade, really neat design, and we put them on our 550 bills, we put them on our 750 bills. They're an excellent design, and they're a really nice looking piece. When the tran's all done, this thing is going to be a showpiece when you guys see it.
Such a big deal. We did an Allison 6-speed install. So if you guys are interested, I highly encourage that you guys watch that video. The very first Duramax that I've ever owned was a Victory Red LMM Duramax. Phil Phelps, my brother-in-law, he's here. He actually encouraged me to get into the diesel game many years ago. But, you know, my brother-in-law is here in Wisconsin. I'm in Michigan as well. He's from the same area I am, so it's kind of cool that we're here together. We're kind of sharing our diesel passion with, you know, the local community. You guys, you know, and I do appreciate all your support. Ryan and the team here at Ryan's Diesel Service, as well as Mark here and his team, we've decided to collaborate and do a like your whole staff, myself, you know, and you know everyone else involved. We're all going to basically go all ham and install all this stuff from the frame up. Is what we're doing. So it's a pretty big deal. Matter of fact, we have Eric the Turbo Guy. He is the lead machinist here, and he's the one that actually builds the RDS turbos.
Normally on our LB7 units, they're all brand new. In this case, being that this is just a one-off that we're doing, it's a lot easier for us to control. With the turbine housings, the LB7s had a known crack in the turbine housings. I know we've talked about this before in past videos. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to pull this unit apart, machine out the exhaust housing so that it can accept the larger turbine wheel. Every one of our LB7 units that we do automatically comes with a larger turbine wheel. A lot of guys out there that don't offer that, we do. So that's going to be kind of what we're going to do with that as far as turbo goes.
All right, guys, so that's it for this video today. Again, thanks again for everything, and hope we're ready for this. You guys ready?
Oh yeah. Ready. Burn the midnight oil. Let's
get
her done.
We're definitely going to be getting after this one. So, all right, guys, stay tuned. Thanks. leaking.